As it is written, the kingdom is within us. Come together and discuss the issues within the kingdom. Speak your peace. Speak the truth. For the kingdom is at hand. Kingdom Conversations.
Peace and blessings, peace and blessings, peace and blessings to the whole house. The northern and the southern kingdom, the real two sticks, according to the book, the kingdom of the Israelites. Peace and blessings to you all. Father, we thank you. We thank you once again for allowing us to have another conversation with your people that you surnamed. Abba, Father, we love you. We love your word. We love the commandments. They're not grievous to us. We do love you and we thank you for your word. We thank you for sending your son, Mashiach, so that he could die for who he said he came for. And he was that salvation for his people, his kinsmen. That's why they call him the kinsman redeemer. We thank you, Father. Mashiach, we thank you for the work that you did. We also thank you for sending the Comforter, also aka the Ruach HaKodesh. The Ruach can lead us into all truth. Not only the truth that we're the book people, but the truth concerning us and confirming your word. We're walking, living, and breathing prophecy, and we fulfill prophecy. Father, I ask that you bless the youth. And we should be asking you to touch and bless the youth every day, every minute, every hour. Because right now they're going through it. They're even going more so through it than the old heads. Because they have access. The book says somewhere the prayer of the righteous availeth much. So we ask that you hear our prayers and that you hear us, Father. And that you keep doing the mighty work that you are doing this day and this hour. We thank you and we praise you. Hallelujah. All praises to the Father. Hello, fam. Good evening to you wherever you are on this earth. The Father is blessing you and keeping you. And thank you for joining another KC. We appreciate you joining in with us and fellowshipping with us, your family, the Salt of the Earth production family. But somewhere in the book says that you are salt and light. And that's exactly what you are. Put a one up if you believe that you are both salt and light. You can't have one without the other. When you put salt in that food, if your food is bland, the food is not going to taste good. If you're not walking around and people don't see the light in you, that's not good either. There's nothing wrong with being salt and light. Somewhere in the book it says salt is good for flavor. And the Israelites have been putting their flavor all over the earth. And we are that blessing that the book talks about. So greeting to my brothers on the panel. Shalom to you, brothers. My good brother Najid and Elias Shah. Brother Najid, please greet the family.
All right. All praises, glory, and honor to the Most High Yah. Always great to be here tonight with my brothers on the panel, Elder Cleo, Elder Elisha. Great to see you, brothers. Everybody, everybody in the chat, my family. Good to be with you all tonight. As you can see, got some new icons going on there. I want to see. I want to see in the chat. I want you guys to tell me which one is
Oh,
the
here
best.
you go. Here you go. Here
I
you
couldn't help
go.
myself, brother
Here
Cleo.
you go.
Tried. I tried. I tried.
There's
But
nothing wrong with
fam, let us know which one looks the best.
it.
All praises.
Listen, you better say mine is the best, or I'm gonna tell the Father, don't say none of y'all. I'm just messing with y'all. I hope that the Father bless all of y'all. Brother Elisha, how you doing, good brother? What say you?
And all praise the Most High, and peace and blessings to all the Israelite family out there. Peace and blessings to my brothers on the panel, Elder Cleo, Brother Najee, and I'm pretty sure Elder Banya will be here soon enough. Just saying, I'm praying the Most High, guidance and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, filling us with discernment, the Spirit to speak where He gives us to speak, and also the Spirit to be quiet when we start to speak. So,
Hallelujah.
also one last thing.
Go ahead, bro.
Of course, my avatar is the best.
You see, Israelites is all alphas, right? Everybody want to be the best. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, if you don't think that you're the best, then there's something wrong. Something wrong with you. Why you say that, brother? See, well, the Father separated you, and He gave you His law, statutes, and commandments, and He wanted you to be the leader of the earth, and He wanted you to run the earth. So there's no reason why you shouldn't look at yourself and say, I'm the best. There's not an Israelite athlete playing in the NBA, Major League Baseball, soccer, gymnastics, football, whatever. When they look in the mirror, what do they see? They see the best and they say, yes, I am the best. But we've proven that time and time again. And we'll prove that again tonight, too. It's the next superpower. We know who the next superpower on the earth is without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt. We know who that is. I don't care about Russia and Ukraine. I don't care about Russia. Russia can fire 5 million nukes and missiles into Poland, into Australia, into Germany, and into Canada. And China can do it too. China can cross the Euphrates with 200 million soldiers, according to somebody's eschatology, right? We still gonna be the next superpower on the earth, and we still gonna be the ones to put things in order under our Savior Mashiach. And that's according to the book. So I'm going to go ahead and greet the fam. Fam, love you all. Thanks you again for joining in with us. I really appreciate you jumping in and joining on this conversation that we're going to have today. And I know you could have been anywhere, but thank you for joining in with us. And I'm going to start from the top and work down like we normally do. JPM Isaiah 17 and 14, and behold, at evening tide trouble, and before the morning he is not. This is the portion of them that spoil us, and the lot of them that rob us. Paraphrase what the Father's saying in that one, that somebody's about to get something. When the evening comes, and when trouble hits you, you about to get it. Something is going before you, and we are living testaments of that. We are a living, breathing testimony against the nation, every one of you. Every one of you that's walking around talking about you're an Israelite and you claiming your heritage and you going back and claiming what's yours according to the book. You, sir, you, ma'am, you, child, you, nephew, you, niece, you, uncle, you, grandfather, all of you are walking and living and breathing prophecies. My good brother Daniel Blackshear, peace and blessings to you, brother. Hope you are well. Saraya, shalom, sis. Hope all is well with you today. Peace and blessings. Omaya Yakita, shalom, sis. Peace and blessings to you. Hope the Father's keeping you. My good sister Maria Yakita, shalom. Peace and blessings to you, sis. Hope all is well with you. Nature's Graffiti, shalom, sister. Hope all is well with you today. Peace and blessings. Cindy Clark, Shalom, family. Peace and blessings, sister. Hope you are well. Stay on fire, ministries. Stay on fire. We better stay. A book. Somebody go get that precept. He said, "I'd rather you be hot or cold. You come lukewarm, he gonna do what? Spew you out of his mouth. You better be on fire right now, especially all the stuff that you see going on planet Earth. You should stay on fire like that name right there. Shalom, stay on fire. Romy, shalom, brother. How you doing? Hope all is well with you. Praise him. Shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings. You watching from TV. Much blessings, much peace and blessings of love to you. We love our people. If you don't get nothing from anything edifying, hope prayerfully you do, but if you don't get anything else, you definitely feel the love. And matter of fact, if you see some new folks coming in, fam or you, that's normal, that's frequent, got those frequent flyer miles on Solid Earth Productions. Go ahead and greet the new people and tell them shalom, and greet them and love on them, and be peaceable and kind to them. And this is the type of attitude that we need to be taking to our world, to our family worldwide, wherever they are. Be led by the Spirit to communicate with your family, especially the young stars. Young stars need us more now, more so than ever. Yakita, Jeremiah 49:12. For thus saith Yahuwah, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. That's somebody that thought they wasn't going. Sound like to me, somebody thought they wasn't going to get judgment, but they got it. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? You didn't think that you was going to get it. All the slavery, all the gator baits, all of the redlining, all of the lying, cheating, and stealing. You're stealing. The brothers invented alcohol, and you said, "Oh, we gonna do prohibition, and we gonna destroy them." And then now the Kennedys get paid money off of all the alcohol you buy because they made it legalized. Oh, the running numbers game. You invented running numbers, and now they say, "Oh no, that's illegal, sir and ma'am." Oh, but now it's legal now because the government done took it over. Now you can play the numbers every day. You shall not go unpunished. Thou shalt not go unpunished. That's what the books say. So everything America, that America, and not just America, how our people were done throughout transatlantics, they gonna get it. All praise to the Father. LOL, great pick of Psalms 109. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We pride ourselves on Psalms 109. Over here, you have a different brand of Israelite over on Solid Earth Productions, and everyone in the chat we all seem to be the same brand, to whereas we're not really obliging the heathen and all their foolishness, and we shouldn't oblige the heathen. And you guys already know where I feel on that, so I'm gonna keep it moving. Unorthodox daughter Zion, peace and blessings, sis. Hope you are well. Hope the Father has been keeping and blessing you. D. Wimberly, shalom. Peace and blessings to you. Sharon O, shalom. Peace and blessings to you, sis. Hope all is well. Mr. Thorpe, shalom, good brother. Hope all is well with you. Hope you have been well. I'm going to keep scrolling down and see who I can see. Yadanako Batu Yawariga Yakuba, top left. Shalom, peace and blessings to you. And the top left, that's right. Thank you very much. We got to vote for the top left avatar. Thank you very much. And even though I butchered your name, Shalom, peace and blessings to you. My too much for you. Peace and blessings to you. Hope you are well. My sister said they all are tight. Nope. Mine is the best. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. Joe Scott, shalom, brother. Peace and blessings. Let's see here. Yeah, we got next. That's right. We the next ones. We the next ones up. We was up before, went down. Now we gonna be back up. Let's see here. I see all the good comments. Linda Rick, shalom, sis. Hope you are well. Y'all better be greeting y'all family that come in here. You see a new person, son of Elohim. Greet them, and because you might see these, we might see these same people. And I'm expecting to see all of y'all in the wilderness. I am truly expecting to see you all. Yes, I am. I'm truly expecting to see all of my family here, and hopefully all of my family that's online that we can see and listen to, that we all be gathered together. Now that's going to be a powerful thing. That should give you chills thinking about us coming together and building something and doing something and moving. And we got our cheat codes. The books say our weapon, the weapons of our warfare are what? Somebody could get that precept and put it in there, and I'll read it. Revelation 3:15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. That's why you better be on fire. Every day you wake up, you better be on fire. Even when you're tired, you better be on fire. I would thou work cold or hot. In other words, I would rather you be either you be cold, you just put the book down, or either you be on fire for the book and keep rocking with it. Revelation 3:16. So then, because you are lukewarm, because you're trying to straddle the fence, one minute you're talking about you're saved, and then the next minute the law's done away with. You lukewarm. You floating and you don't even know what you're doing. You neither you cold, you talking about the law is done away with. You're hot, you're talking about you're saved. I will spew thee out of my mouth. In other words, he's not dealing with you. He's not dealing nobody with that foolishness. And that's from him saying, because he got what he already established. He establishes truth and righteousness through his commandments. And it's up to the Israelites to fulfill what those are on the earth, and people can see how you're doing it. People should be able to look at you and say, oh yeah, that's a commandment keeper. That sister over there, she a commandment keeper. Not talking about you saved. Sorry, I'm getting fired. I'm going to go back to being calm. Shredes, shalom, peace and blessings to you. Raphael Yosef, peace and blessings to you. Helen Fularami, peace and blessings, sis. Shalom to you. Brandon Harris, shalom, peace and blessings to you. Leanne King, shalom. Jacobs, that's right. Peace and blessings. Stephanie M, peace and blessings to you, sis. Brandon Harris, not carnal. That's right. Weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty indeed for what? For the pulling down of strongholds. There it go, right there, right when I was reading it. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. That means that's them cheat codes. That's them cheat codes is not carnal. Cheat codes will manifest in the physical, but cheat codes are spiritual. That's the part they miss. That's why the heathen been trying to be like us and been telling us about us in their movies and in their superheroes and all of that. They talking about you. Every time you see a superhero, you better look at yourself and say, "Oh yeah, that's me one day. Oh yeah, I got that's gonna be my thing right there." Davion D. Nice Murphy, peace and blessings, brother. Hope all is well with you. Ezekiel 34, I'm gonna put that to the side right there. Uh, y'all got jokes. Okay, so fam, we're gonna go ahead and get into today's conversation, and later on I'll be dropping the link. So for those of you, male or female, if you want to jump on, please jump on and speak your piece. So today's conversation, my good brother Jason Camfor, shalom, brother, peace and blessings to you. Today's conversation is going to be entitled "The Subculture of Our Youth and Being for the Streets." Now, this one is this is going to be a little bit of a different one. And as I was doing my research, because I'm an old head, and I'm that old head that says, "Get off my lawn." That's me. Shalom, peace and blessings to you. Hope all is well. And so, being that I'm the one that says, "Oh yeah, y'all, the young stars' music is trash, is garbage, is this and that," and that's the wrong perspective to take. But I'm being honest with you all when I say that, because I believe that the music that we have was better, and every generation will say that their music was better. But our youth right now, the subculture within our youth, is under a massive attack, under such a massive attack. And I can say right now that being in Christianity or being in other religion does not prepare you for what our children are seeing and going through today. The attacks that they are under pale in comparison. Now, where I'm gonna start off with, and you guys know with how I run Kingdom Conversations, or really it's how we run as a family. Kingdom Conversations is I'll typically ask questions and then we'll start probing and then we'll start digging in. But I've said some things about youth having their own culture. And when I was growing up, we had our own culture, of course. We had our own music. We had our own clothing, our own style, the food we ate, and the things that we did, what was cool, what was not cool, and this, that, and the third. We had peer pressure, of course. And we had another phenomena too that I'm going to mention that everyone's knows about, but we haven't put it in this context. We always talk about peer pressure, right? We always talk about that. But there's another pressure too that we're going to bring out, and you guys all know what it is, but we're just going to talk about it. So now, if I were to ask everyone, and I want to ask, I am going to ask this question. I'm going to put it in the chat first. What is different in culturally? What is different between then and now? And so I framed it this way because I want everyone to think of if you're a young star, then you're the now. Young star being this generation, I'll say anybody under 35 and young to like 17 and even younger than that because there's a couple of generations in there possibly, but I'll say younger than 35. So if you're older than 35, you're part of the then back in what you consider your old days, right? So what's the difference between now and then? And I want to get comments from, of course, my family that's in the chat because it seems to me that, and I'm looking at all the good things. There's some good things out there. I'm not going to spoil it, so I'm not even going to get into that. I'm going to put up some of the folks' comments in the chat, some of my family, and let's see more indoctrination. Okay, that's heavy. Let's see. JPM says they don't have the foundation that some of the older ones have. When it comes to the knowledge of our enemies and what they're capable of and what's truly in their hearts, they're sheep for the slaughter. I would agree to that. And JPM, I would also agree that some of us that call ourselves Israelite are clueless to that because you got some people still walking around talking about you can be a Christian light. You can be an Israelite Christian. And we know that that's folly. If you are going to make the decision that you are an Israelite, you have to put down everything. Point blank. You have to put it all down and you have to start off from bakery scratch. No, you know how mom used to make bake them cakes from scratch. She wasn't Duncan Hines. Moms would make them cakes from bakery scratch. And German chocolate cake on thanks that they stole. Thanks taken. Or they call it Thanksgiving. We call it that. I call it thanks taken because you wasn't giving, you was stealing, taking. You make that German chocolate cake. Oh my goodness. Better than any bakery on the planet. Let's see here. Y'all got some great answers. I'll tell you this right now. Y'all, and that's why I love my family. My family is the teachers of the earth. That's what you're getting groomed for, to put everything in order. That's why I always say it's all hands on deck. Nothing new under the sun. That's right. Nothing new under the sun. It seems like it's been magnified times 1,000x. Praise him. We look out for each other more then. That's correct. We sure did. We sure did. That's profound. Tell your family when you go back and tell your family to come back and watch this episode that they come back and again always turn the chat on and read what's going on in the chat because that is the place where some of the most profound and edifying information comes. At least on this show. I don't know about anybody other show or what they're doing, but it's not about necessarily the panel, but it's about the people. Because we could see what the Father is doing and what he is building. Brandon Harris says, I would say the Most High is allowing Hashatan to run rapid more than ever. Yeah, and he's a tool. Hashatan, whatever it is a tool. It's a tool no different than a hammer, than a screwdriver. And Hashatan is on the same board that we are all on. Same board, whether the father be playing 18, 32 dimensional chess or 64 dimensional chess. We'll do that divisible based on the bit system, right? Computer language. Let's see here. Michelle Y. More access to wickedness via social media. Yeah, that's one of my pointers right there, sis. That's one of my pointers, definitely. They have more access. I truly wish I would have came up in this time. Because the tools that you have, the computer tools that you have are second to none. And they're just getting better and better and better. The way that we did things in the old school, and I'm back with DOS. One of the early versions of DOS. And for those of you who remember COBOL and Fortran, that'll jog your memory a little bit. But they definitely have access to some fantastic tools. The lack of respect for the older generation, that's right. And part of that has to do with the old generation's fault for dropping the ball. But we didn't know we dropped the ball until we came under the full knowledge of the truth. And the full knowledge of the truth is that what the Father says, let the Father be true and let every man be a liar, including your oxy. That low down nigga is a liar too. Let's see here. What else we got? We got some people jumping in. Shalom, a Christian, Christian. Yeah, bro. Well, the 45,000 different denominations have run amok over the whole earth. Has the whole earth in plunder. So, Tycee Rowland, shalom, brother. Peace and blessings. I do want to say shalom to all our folks out there in London, in the UK, folks in Manchester, also the folks in Sweden, Switzerland, folks in Ghana, folks in Russia, folks all over the earth that get to jump on and watch the show. So shalom to you, Tycee. Hope you are well. Hope the Father's been keeping you and blessing you. Let's see here. Who else we have? Our parents have been removed from the home. Back in the days, we had 3 generations of the house most of the time. Yeah, Khan, that's absolutely correct. You guys are blasting through it. As usual, I'm going to read this last comment. JPM, the lines between right and wrong have been erased for this generation. They are without a moral compass or empathy or compassion, drunk with the wine of liberalism and anything goes. YOLO, that's right. I'm gonna keep reading some more of these comments because you all are awesome. Very, 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 very awesome. Lack of respect. We probably display our own hair, as we should be. We shouldn't be doing anything else. Let's see here. There's more weight to an opinion, and ignorance is encouraged. Laziness towards the soul, more energy to the image. And you know what's amazing? To this point, what's amazing is that on the job, the most dumbest and ridiculous people get promoted and make tons and tons of money, but the brilliance is left sitting in the dust. And I'll let you ponder that one. I will let you ponder that one. And this is the one I called Romans 3 and 4. The Father forbid, yea, let the Father be true, let Yah be true, but every man a liar. Let the Father be true, but your oxy is a liar according to this. Why do you call yourself a liar? Because if I'm telling you something or saying something, you better make sure that it line up with the book. Just like the next comma says, as it is written. If your brother sees saying something that's not written in the book, then you call him a liar and don't tell the whole world that nigga right there is a liar. Don't listen to him. Somebody get the precept where it say his mouth need to be stopped, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings. So you're going to be justified in the sayings of the book and mightest overcome when thou art judged. You'll be able to stand before the Father righteously. According to him, not according to your own righteousness, but according to as it is written. He gave you the whole test. He gave you the answers to the test and gave you the test. You got some monkeys telling you the law is done away with. Well, who you gonna believe? You better believe the Father. Okay, so y'all got that stone cold, knocked that out all the way. Titus 1 and 11. We got somebody dropping in from the background whose mouths must be stopped. Brother C, you coming on here lying, they Father gonna stop you. You prophesying, making up stuff, talking about you gonna stop a storm, the Father gonna stop your mouth. Or maybe he sent the lying spirit so you can't lie and deceive your own people. Who subvert whole houses. Whole houses be getting destroyed based on you lying, talking about the law is done away with. And you got somebody that wants to be an Israelite, and then somebody over here still wants to be a Christian. You turn the whole house upside down with your foolishness. What's that? In precept, the same precept into the next part. Teaching things that they ought not. You should never be telling nobody that the law is done away with, and then talking about you getting money. Talking about you getting the Trinity offering. Somebody give me a tithe. And you teaching people, destroying people with your lies, going against what the books say. You need to be tossed headlong into hell. It's the book or nothing else. So let me get back into it. So y'all blaze through that as usual. And so I'm going to ask the brothers on the panel, what is different between then and now, according to your own life, right? Based on what was in the past. Brother Najid, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, sorry about that, bro. Sorry
That's
about
okay,
that.
man. You good? Rock out, bro.
Sorry for the pause.
You good?
You know what? I think as the scripture said, knowledge will increase in this time, and we see knowledge definitely has increased. You say it all the time, brother Cleo. Google is God, right?
I should have copyrighted that one.
Right, you should. You definitely should have, bro. But what I think is, there is nothing new under the sun. I saw somebody in the fam posted that, and that is true. But what I see as one of the major differences is the layman can have an opinion that can be spread around the world based on what that opinion is. And the more egregious the opinion, the more light it gets. So, somebody who has a bunch of followers, for example, on Facebook, could be a layman, right? 1,000 followers. I mean, that's not unheard of from somebody who's not a celebrity or not famous. They could basically say something that can catch the ear of some famous people or some prominent people, and that can actually be spread. So I think that's the major difference to me. That's something that I've really never seen before, that everybody's opinion kind of matters. And I say matters in quotes, right? We and our young people, they're hearing all of this. They're getting all of this. All of this stuff is going into their ears. These opinions that could be, outrageous opinions. Outrageous opinions. Opinions about, religion. Opinions about the awakening. Opinions about sex. Opinions about abortion. Opinions about homosexuality. All these opinions where somebody's saying they're right. Listen to me just because I have an opinion. That's the craziest thing to me. And that's the thing that I think probably has the most impact on our young people today.
That is profound, bro. I appreciate that. Very profound and thought provoking. Brother Elisha, what say you?
I agree 100% with the brother Hal. I mean, my brother Najee. If you think about it, you got YouTube, and you have all these people who have a conglomeration of doctrines based off of YouTube videos. They can agree with you on 3 points, disagree on 7 and agree with another group and another people and another person. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody, you got a lot of people that's not willing to humble themselves, even in spite of being wrong. And we got a nation of opinions, and that's prevalent in this country. How people operate. You know, you got one man nations running around our people. That's why we can't come together. Everybody wants to be heard. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to follow. Nobody wants to give credit to the ones that the Most High might lead you in a particular position. But then we condemn ourselves when we go to work or something. You go to work, you got a thousand opinions, but you shut up to get your check. You find different avenues within this construct to humble yourself and keep your mouth shut, or to humble yourself and not voice your particular position because in some way you're affected or you're subordinate to somebody, particularly on the workplace, where your boss can pretty much be wrong about everything, and you'll be quiet as a kitchen mouse. So a lot of times, man, it's hard for us to come together because of these things. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a belief. This is what I think. A lot of times not founded on anything or based on anything, and then you can't be reasons with. So that is a great hindrance to our people, that everybody has an interpretation. Everybody has a psalm. So Paul once said that in I believe in the book of Acts, I believe it was, or it was one of the epistles, where he says, each of you have a psalm, each of you have a revelation, each of you have a dream. You know, everybody wants to be exalted. So that's definitely a hindrance.
Well, I think a lot of that comes from. I'm gonna blame the old heads for this one. A lot of that comes from what someone put in the chat. I'm gonna put it up, but I don't want to get too far away. The me culture, where it's all about me getting the shine. And reason why I just threw the old heads under the bus is that the old heads typically would want to be up front, would want to always get the shine, would want to always be the one speaking and talking and shooting off their mouth. Then when they cross over, the whole thing fall away. When we was on the street, what was my thought was this: I don't want to be the one teaching anything. I will read for you, brothers, but I want you brothers to be the ones going up front. You young stars, the youth is our future. If they do something to Brother C, or they lie and say Brother C did something or anything like that, I could be going away. We still got 10 other brothers that could step up and not only do what I was doing, but they could just keep the mission keep going. The old heads should have been training like the book say. Somebody get the precept, training up a child in the way that they should go. The old heads that came before me, the old heads that's my age, and those that come after me should be training up leaders. My whole thought is to groom leaders and then send them out. That's what Rothschild did. Rothschild got his 5 sons together, said, okay, we're going to run the whole earth banking system. And what happened? Not to mention he had help from the others, but that's just what it is. So that's why I'm okay with throwing the old heads under the bus. But if you don't know who you are, then it's easy for you to fall prey. See, the difference between now, one of the main differences now between now and then is that you've woken up. Evangelicals can't tell us nothing about this book now. Kenneth Hagin, Joel Osteen, Bible Answer Man, Dr. David Jeremiah, Kenneth Copeland, none of y'all can tell us nothing about this here book. In the past, that wasn't so. So I'm going to get back on task here. So you brothers answered that with brilliance. And so some of the answers that I had and some of the thoughts that I had were social media, having access to technology, part of the things that are a little bit different is the clothing. It's a little bit different, but it changes. Clothing changes based on who's hot, and typically it typically flows from. It used to flow from New York. Now it flows from wherever because of the access that we have. You could almost say that the South is running shop for a certain degree. Uh, but that's a conversation. We still the same people. It doesn't matter to me if you're from the South, North, East, West, uh, left coast, East Coast, dirty South, Midwest, North. We all the people. We all related and all connected. And to me, it doesn't matter where you're from. I love you just the same. So we've brought all of these different things out. There was one that someone said that I'm going to go back to because this is the one that we're going to dive in now. Culturally, one of the most important things to a culture or to the youth is music, right? Music is a kind of a unifier, right? And so if you look at the streets, and the streets, believe it or not, is more in tune with the music than I ever could imagine. And I'm just basing that on my past life being um, not necessarily I would say for the streets because I can't say that I was for the streets. I could just say that I was straddling the fence while I was working, right? Because my thing was okay, I gotta either go to school, get a job, or go to school for a little bit, get a trade, then go to work, get some money, right? And so that's where my focus was. Now, I'll say this: I had, and just like everybody in the chat and everybody on the panel, although I wasn't the hard knock life, the hard knock, uh, I bet in my Rolodex I got a lot of hard knocks, and I got some brothers that were in and out of the penitentiary. I have brothers that's for the streets to this day. I also have brothers that's lawyers and doctors and are doing really great for themselves. So it's funny how some of us, and I'm not one of us that has achieved anything yet. The Father's still working on me. So I still got time. Like I always tell people, I haven't blown nothing up yet, but I still got time, right? But the music, we're going to delve into the music a little bit. Reason why I say the music, because the music and the streets kind of go hand in hand. When you talk about the clothing, when you talk about the culture, when you talk about including social media, when you talk about the music, our music has always been the best. Brother C, how can you say that? Here's how I can say that. We're the only people that can invent a genre of music, say, okay, we tired and bored of it, move on, and then allow other people to come in and sweep right in and control, and we be like, oh, we on to something else. Let's take hip hop or rap. I call it rap. I don't call it hip hop. I just call it rap. I'm an old head. Get off my lawn. All right. So let's take rap for instance. If you look at from its inception and what we say its inception, it's actually a lot older than what we say it is. But let's say its inception is the 80s, right? Just for so that we all can be on the same plane. Since its inception, maybe late 70s. I think Sugar Hill Gang was around the late 70s, but there was probably stuff going on in New York before that. But let's say from 80 forward, right? Just from the 1980s forward, how many different genres of what you would call hip hop or rap have been created? And they still create new ones. I mean, y'all can put in the chat, you young stars can put, what's it, mumble rap is one of them. Drill is another one. We just create stuff. That's how dope we are. We just can create, we can create infrastructures and entities on the fly. And we created country music, walk away from that. Who took that over? The heathen. Jazz, we created and invented that. Who's some of your biggest jazz artists? Boney James. Classical, I know we invented that. Opera, I know we invented that. Who running that now? The Roman Catholics. Did I say country music? Did I say rock and roll? Jimi Hendrix and them? Little Richard and them? Music is very, 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 very powerful. But guess what? Music has been weaponized against you. And it's one of those tools that the enemy has crafted and weaved it into our culture so tight that we have our youngsters now not only succumb to peer pressure, but they succumb to cultural pressure. What's cultural pressure, Brother C? That's that term that I wanted to drop on now. Cultural pressure. Cultural pressure is a little bit different from peer pressure. Why is that, Brother C? Well, it's different because cultural pressure is something that's very pervasive where the whole culture, the whole of the culture, that's right, Leontine Price. A lot of people don't know about her, bro. I'm going to throw that up in a second. Brother Amir, peace and blessings to you. Shalom. Hope you are well. Culture pressure is when the whole of the culture or what has been made popular popularizes things like being cool. Okay, that's cool. You hip, you got swag, you got drip. All of these things, that's important. But getting the education, the smart technological brothers, the brothers that can code, it's the brothers that are out there with the drip. That's what's up. That's what's popping, right? Not the brothers that can code. Right? The brothers that can ball, yeah, they good. The brothers that can move bricks. Yeah, that's it, right? That's it, right? Not the brothers that's becoming doctors and lawyers. Now, that's not to say that we do that intentionally. This is what's pushed on us through the different medias. We are focusing on music for a specific reason, and I'm going to get into that. Brothers, do you have something to add to that? Brother Elisha, I'll start with you first.
I mean, you know, when it comes to music and social media and, you know, just the way things operate today, and it goes back to a point I wanted to make when we were on the last topic about how we choose our leaders. You know, if you think about the structure that we're in, you know, the governmental bodies put your leaders in front of you, like, you know, they have elections and then you vote for those who run in public office. And, you know, these are the people who represent you, whether you like it or not. And they tell you exactly who you're going to select. Now, if you think about for our community, we don't have a representative. Usually our representatives are known by, if a brother gets killed by the police, you know, they send in Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and things like that. And then this is how our leaders are known. And outside of that, everybody else, everybody within our people has their own particular opinion. Now let's fast forward to like mainstream, you know, music and social media. Now you got all these different people who build personalities online, and everybody, you know, picks and chooses who you want to listen to, who you want to follow, you know, who you want to choose, you know. And it reminds me of Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. If we can grab that up real quick. One particular verse I want to grab up in Isaiah chapter 3, I believe it is.
Yeah, your book with you?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the verse inside. I just want to grab up verse. Let's see. All right. Let's see, verse.
What book did you call?
Is Isaiah chapter 3, and we're going to grab. I'm going to grab verses 3 and 5 and 6. I'm going to put those in the chat.
You want me to read that out for you? Brother Lusher?
Yeah, yeah. If you don't mind, brother, let me post them in the chat. You can read them out.
All right, no problem. You said verses 3 and
I'm about to post them right now. So there they go, right there.
okay. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand.
I think about those words, you know, and we just start back because I know that we couldn't post it all inside so the people can see it. It says, and the people shall be oppressed, everyone by his neighbor, by another, and everyone by his neighbor. And the child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, that says, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. And then it says, In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of this people. If you think about how we choose our rulers today, think about it. Our rulers tend to be the ones who have made it in some type of way in the entertainment industry. The ones who, our brothers like LeBron James and all these people, because they play basketball and because they're put on TV. Like Charles Barkley said one time back in the day, if you're old enough, he said, I am not a role model. Make me not a leader over this ruin. I don't want to inspire your children. I don't want to lead this people from the valley of the dry bone. I don't want to help them wake up, and this is what permeates throughout within our people. We're looking for those people who have the Gucci shirts and the Tom Ford, if I'm saying that right, and that they have the stylish clothing by the Italians, and these are the ones we're looking to. Like children are our oppressors. We're looking to the younger generations that's on TV, that's in the rap music, in the R&B, that they got the nice cars, they got the women. These are the ones we're looking to lead us. In a lot of ways, they're saying, I don't want to be a leader of this ruin. I don't want to help you. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get this money and do my own thing. And I always think about these verses when I see how we operate when it comes to our people that we tend to look up to just because they're on TV, just because they rap, and it's tied in because these are the people that are put in position to lead us because they do unscrupulous things, because they don't uphold the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. These are the ones that mainstream white America puts in front of us and tell us that, hey, yo, these are the ones who represent you.
Brother Najee, what say you?
Yeah, that was a good word, Brother Lusher. You know what I tend to think of. First, just real quick, when I was really young, when I was coming up in the Pentecostal church, there was this deacon in the church, Deacon Smith, in the church that I was in growing up, and I kid you not, he would have a washboard and a hanger, and I'm saying this man played that washboard like it was the most incredible instrument on the planet, just from scraping a hanger on a washboard. I mean, it was incredible. I kid you not, I could hear this sound in my head still. And I was probably about 8 or 9 years old at the time. Just incredible. All that to say, I think, obviously, quote unquote, Black people, Israelites, there's something special with us about music. I like to think of it as something that cannot be duplicated, or mimicked. But unfortunately, that's not true, because I think a lot of heathen have been able to take what they hear and they've been able to mimic it and duplicate it. We got famous rappers like Eminem. We got famous singers. I can't think of any right now, but you guys know what I mean. They don't look like us, but they sound like us. And if we hear them, we hear them rap or we hear them sing, we have to see their face to know that they're not us. It's a clear mimic. But there's just something special about our voices and our sound, no matter whether we're singing or we're rapping or we're playing some instrument. And I think what's special about that, that's really hard to duplicate, that they work on duplicating, is our pain. There's something about our pain, about the pain of being removed from the Most High. When I woke up, I realized that's what it is. It's that pain of being removed from the Most High that gives us this sound in our voices, whether it's rapping or singing or playing an instrument. You could think about pretty much any outstanding, quote unquote, Black musician and the way they play the instrument, the way they play the saxophone, the way they play the bass or drum. You think about the Aretha Franklins, the Whitney Houstons of our time. There's something about their voice that exudes pain, and it sounds incredible. It just sounds incredible. And I don't think there's any other way to describe it. It's this pain that we went through, whether we're singing a joyful song or a sad song, that just is really hard to duplicate and mimic. And unfortunately, they've been able to do it in some places, but I think that's it. For me, that's what resonates for me. I think it's that pain that we went through.
Elder Cleo and Brother Najee. I just want to just bounce something off you. Not to have us keep going down this road. Some years ago, a brother named Tribe of Judah Teach did a video about the real purpose of music. I don't know if any of you seen it. And music was meant to exalt the Most High. You're not going to see anywhere in the scriptures where music was just predominantly love making music. Music now is just full of delusions of grandeur. If you really think about it, every song is "I love you, I want to have sex with you." Every song. We talk almost 98% of the songs are like that. There's a scripture inside Jeremiah that says, "Why dost thou prounce about to seek love?" And I think the Most High was speaking to that. Like everybody's out there. Marriage doesn't mean anything in a lot of contexts inside this construct. Commitment to people, those things are not really prevalent. But people are looking for somebody to love. Every movie's like that. And that's what music is. Music is telling your subconscious, it's putting in the back of your mind, I need to be in love with somebody. I need to be in love with somebody. Having you to thrive on emotion. Music is not what it was meant to be. Even when you're doing the storytelling, you're just telling the story. For the most part, it's a delusion of grandeur to make a person feel like, or to portray a person in a way that he has this love from people, or that he has this respect from people, or she, or she's, or somebody's putting themselves on a pedestal, in a way that just this specifically about man-female relations. That's what we have here. So music is not even in the right context anymore. It's not like we're singing holy, 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 So even though we enjoy the music, we nostalgic about, we're still nostalgic about the music. All the music has been turned on its head. We're in this country, the only country that's like that, where all the music that our people come up with, which is predominantly the ones that spread all over the earth, it's all about love making music. And then there's no love there. It's really just, testing the goods, So yeah, we might like it and we might have some affinity for it because we were raised on it, but it's completely out of its place. And it's a part in the book of the Testament of the 12 patriarchs, where it was a prophecy about our women being made to be singing girls. I'm gonna grab that up. It's in the 12 patriarchs. And you could tell that, it was a prophecy about how our women will be used to be singing women. And we're talking about R&B. We're talking about being sex symbols. We're talking about the whole way it's been turned on its head. It's not what it's supposed to be, So we're not talking about poetry to one's wife. We're actually talking about just alluring people in the sense of witchcraft, if you want to put it that way.
Okay, so I want to drop right quick a thought. I'm going to pull this thought up because if one was to ask a person what is music, what would you say music is? But I'm going to not even ask that question. I'm just going to give you the punchline. I'm going to drop it in the chat. So, music is frequencies. Frequencies. Tuned to something. Tuned to evoke something. It's vibrations. Have you noticed how certain music impacts you a certain way? When you're listening to a love song that you used to listen to, might make you cry, might make you smile, might make you think of that old person you used to be with back in the day. Some music, y'all know, oh, that's my song. You get up and start dancing the jig. Oh yeah. That's my thing right there. You get up and start moving. Y'all got it right now. Vibration. It's vibrational. That's right. Frequencies that vibrate. Just like the Father's word right now is vibrating all over the earth. When he said, let there be light, that's still vibrating around on the earth. Think that left? Still here. So now I said a couple of things, a couple of pointers. We said something about frequencies. We said something about vibration. Tahuti, peace and blessings. Shalom, hope you're well. And shalom to everybody that came in late, and shalom to the people that are coming in. We talk about frequencies and vibrations. So, but I also told you that, or submitted to you, didn't tell you, submitted to you that music has been weaponized against you. It has. And so I'm going to play a video that talks about the music industry. It's a 5-minute video. We're going to listen to this whole video without interruption. And this video is coming from a person by the name of John Todd. And I believe I mentioned him before. But I happened to find this video, and this ties into what I've been researching about current music and specifically current hip hop and why our youth are under fire. And so you have to also keep in mind who controls the music industry, and that's another layer of it. But right now we're going to listen to this video. So I'm going to share my screen, share the audio. I need to make sure that it's turned up. So before I even share my screen, let me make sure I get my audio turned up good so that you all can hear it. Got that good going on. We go ahead and share it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this. And okay, so I can't hear it. So I know you guys can't hear it, right? Okay, so Brother C, what are you doing? Let me kill that. Let me stop sharing my screen. It's always something with you, bro. Let's see here. Give me a minute. Okay, there it is. All right.
Hey, brother, see, while you're queuing that up, just remember the fair use.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Fair use. Let me play that. Thank you. Thanks, Amir. Appreciate it. Amir and my good brother JPM. So let me go ahead and play fair use. Sorry about that, fam. I was about to get y'all in trouble. The FBI would have been knocking on y'all door. Here go fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. And this is a copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All praises to the Father for the chat, for keeping the brother in line, because you know he's an old head and he needs to get saved. Larry Core Jr., that's right. May Yah bless the house of Yisrael. Yeah, the kingdom of the Israelites. Father bless them. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I believe it was playing. The front part of the video just doesn't have any audio, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. We're going to play it. Let's hide that. And let's go play.
I sit on a council of 13 people that take orders only from the Rothschild Tribunal in London, which they claim they take their orders directly from Lucifer.
I was the manager of Zodiac Productions, which Zodiac Productions, its name's been changed since then. I'm not even sure what they call it now, but it's the largest music conglomerate in the world. It owns RCA Records, Columbia Records, Motown Records, owns almost all the concert booking agencies in the United States. And that's not even the name of the company that owns it. The name of the company that owns it is Brenner Enterprises, and Brenner Enterprises is owned by Chase Manhattan. Chase Manhattan's owned by Standard Oil, and Standard Oil is owned by the Lords of London. You can track it on back. You kind of get the idea after a while. But I was the managing president of Zodiac Productions. It's one of my jobs, as being one of these 13 people. Thus, I got to know many of the people who produce music and sing the music and play the music that you play. Now, one of the closest friends that I got during that time that I obtained was a man named David Crosby. Crosby, Still, Nash and Young. I saw David the day before Christmas last year, talked with him. I got him away from this witch that he had with him. He told her to go shopping. We were in West Hollywood, and I was witnessing around to people I knew. We went off in this store, and we started talking. I said, David, I'd like to ask you a couple questions. I said, I already know the answers, but I've been gone for 5 years. I'd like to know if certain things are still the way they were when I left. I said, now I'll have to explain some of this when I'm done, but you're not going to understand it all unless you know something about music. I said, do they still take the master to the temple room? Dave said, yeah. I said, do they still have the coven conjure demons into the master? He said, of course. I said, now, I got to know something. What's the main reason for rock music? He said, come on, Lance, you know what the reason is. I said, please, David, I don't want to guess. Tell me what the main reason is. He said, the same as when you were in, so that we can play spells on people that we couldn't cast spells upon. I'll explain what that means in a minute. I said, okay, one last thing. I've been hearing that you must be an initiated witch now to get a record contract. He said, that's right. He says, many of us that weren't total witches have to be witches now in order to produce music. Thank you. The master is a tape about as big as the top of this podium that looks like an overgrown 8-track that the album is cut on and is placed in a machine that produces and presses the records and the 8-tracks and cassettes that you buy. After it's been recorded, it's taken in. This is why a master is cut months in advance before it's released. On the full moon, it's taken in to a temple room about the size of this auditorium that is in every one of the major music companies, behind locked doors up in the executive office. And it's placed on an altar sitting in the north of the room, and a pentagram engraved in the floor. And 13 hand-chosen witches and wizards and a coven come in and conjure a principality or a power up, usually Regia or something like that, and order him to tell the demons under him to follow every record and every tape coming off of that master. As I tell many Christian parents, you can go home and count your kids' records, probably yours too, and count how many demons at least are there. If that's too hard for you to believe, I'm sorry. That's why they do it. Now listen to me. This is why rock music's addicting. Have you ever seen kids that got rid of their music? They go around like this. They can't wait to find a rock station somewhere, and they sneak off just like getting a cigarette or a fix, because it's addicting. That's why they can't give it up. The rest of the conversation was this. You can't cast a spell on a Christian, but you can get a Christian to cast a spell on themselves. If you give the permission for the spell to work, being a Christian won't block it. And rock music is not just a song. It is supernatural music that which is carefully designed by their spirit guides or familiar spirits in the form of spells. Now, although the devil's music's power is the music and God's music is the words, much of the songs are written in what we call witch language. Give you kind of an idea. You talk, many of you talk on a CD, unless you know what a smoky is, and a 10-4, and a front door and back door and rocking chair and these type of things. You don't know what you're talking about. Same with witches. When you're in the first and second level, you have to learn over 2,000 words that said by anybody else means something totally different than when you say them. Elton John has said he's never written a song or sung a song that wasn't in which language. And I want to show you something. See how many kids in here will be honest and adults. How many remember and have heard at least several times a song called Hotel California? Somebody tell me what it meant. Quickly, somebody tell me what it meant. Huh? That's pretty close. But from the words, what did it mean? Well, that's more of a guess. See, most people can't tell you. That's why when people do drugs and they listen to songs in which language, they get some of the meaning. But most of the time, they can't tell you. Stop and think how many songs are out there that you really like, and you don't have any idea what the person was talking about. Beyond the Yellow Brick Road? How about The Destroyer by Kiss? Can anybody tell me what it's about? Kiss said in it, kids, kill your parents. They're talking about Helter Skelter. Beatles sung Helter Skelter in which language? Nobody knew what it meant. Manson did because he belonged to the process. Helter Skelter is a several thousand-year-old word. Most of the music is either about Helter Skelter or a place called the Night Winds, which is what Hotel California is about, and different doctrines of witchcraft. You listen to them, your parents let you listen to them, and they have no idea. Kiss openly bragged how they were gaining control of people through their music because the people played their music. They told how they didn't form their own group. Their church, because they were ordained ministers of the Satanist church, placed them together. And that's how most of the music is done. David Crosby, when him and Crosby, Still Nash and Young produced the record 2-8 Street, they ordered the Principality of Medici to order Demons of Rebellion to go into the record, and everybody that heard it would be rebellious against law and order and government. And it was one of the reasons for the great upheaval in the 60s was that one album, and they take open credit for it.
I have personally talked with Johnny Todd on the basis of Jack Chick's recommendations. Having known Johnny Todd now for more than 4 years, and my having known him for some 6 months, I believe that Johnny Todd is a genuinely converted man, saved by the grace of God out of the depths of Satanism.
Okay, so that video
Hi
is
everyone,
over.
my name is Julie, and today we're exploring...
Bro, get that out of here, man. We don't want to see Julie talking about the Sumerian language or whatever she talking about. We're not trying to see you, woman. I had something on Elton John, and yeah, that's true. Now I want to take a look at what happened to John Todd, because John Todd, after he came out and started revealing secrets, which he was telling on them folks. Let's quickly see what happened to John Todd. I'm gonna copy this hyperlink and then I'm gonna drop it in. Let me get my bearing right quick. Let's see your judges. Yeah, we could put it up there. Bring it down. Let's put it right there. Okay, John Todd. John Todd was the guy you saw in the video talking for the most part. So let's quickly, briefly see what befell him, and then we're going to move on. Because the whole thought and the reason why we brought out John Todd's information was the simple fact that we wanted to illustrate the weaponization of music and how off the rip it's been weaponized against not only the people, but when they were speaking of the Christian, my mind went to the Israelites. And that's where my mind always, and that's where your mind always should go. The term Christian is a code word for Israelite, because there's no such thing as a Christian. Although you have 45,000 different denominations of Christianity, at least, probably 5,000 now, since last check. You have 45,000 different denominations. Not one of them is the source of any truth. However, I digress. Let me zoom this in a little bit so that the fam can see it. We're gonna read what befell John Todd, right? Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, so John Wayne Todd, this is when he was born, and this is when he crossed over. And he published works against Dungeons and Dragons, Catholicism. Notice that. Neo-paganism and Christian rock. So I'm going to scroll down. We're going to get to the punchline for this dude. This is his career, and I don't want to get into that. I want to get into what they did to him. And really, it's more so about his death, because I believe they locked him up for. He got locked up for. Here it is, right here. Todd was arrested in May 1987 for rape of a University of Southern Carolina graduate student. And after his arrest, he was additionally charged with sexually molesting 2 children who attended a karate school where he worked. He was convicted of rape and then sentenced to 30 years in a state prison. Todd, through his defense attorney, requested the return of a pair of pink women's panties, 64 photographs, 2 survivor knives. I don't know if any of this I believe or if I don't believe. Here's really the punchline, though, and this should sound eerily familiar to most of you. In 2004, Todd was released, but he was put in the care of a behavioral disorder treatment unit ran by Southern Carolina Department of Mental Health. And I think that's where the man died. He died in a mental hospital. And so if you want to read what's up on this John Todd dude, you can. But notice how they locked him up and they labeled him a conspiracy theorist. And that's one of the things that they do. And matter of fact, here it is right here. He was released from prison and placed in a site. So they took him out of prison. He more than likely was drugged up and out of his mind on all kind of psychotropics. And then he died in 2007. So 3 years after they put him there, he died. So for those of you who want to do some research on John Todd, you can. And that's a good point, sis, because we don't know. We really don't know if he's dead or alive. Matter of fact, I'm going to go as far as to say this. Those white supremacists that they arrest for doing heinous crimes to our people, and when they say, oh, yeah, they gave him the death penalty, I don't believe that. When they say Weinstein is locked up, I don't believe that. When they say that other Sting that was doing human sex trafficking with Giselle, whatever her last name is, y'all know who I'm talking about. Ghislaine, I think that's how you pronounce her name. And then they supposedly these people not locked up in jail. And that man that they say, that Sting that was working with that woman, supposedly hung himself. That man's somewhere kicking it, enjoying life. They do Harvey Weinstein. You'll see him going in the front door of the jail, and they let him out the back door. That man's somewhere in Israel. Jazane Maxwell, thank you very much, bro. I appreciate that. So we're going to move off of John Todd. And the main reason for showing you John Todd was to prove to you that this music from time immemorial has been weaponized against you. Did you guys pay attention to the companies that were named and that were thrown on the screen? Those are the same companies that were part of benefiting off of slave labor, and they benefit off of slave labor to this day. Did you guys notice that? So now I'm going to get back on the weaponization of music, and we're going to focus in on that. And why are we going to focus in on that? Because of this reason. Hip hop right now is our music, but there's a lot of our people, a lot of our stars are dying. Yep, we're going to go there tonight. We are going to go there. It didn't have me shaking, but it had me messed up a little bit. But before I go there, before we talk about the Migos and the Tupacs and the Biggies, because we're going to get into that. We definitely going to get into that. Before I get into that, I need to continue talking about the weaponization of frequencies. My good sister, Maria Yakita, put frequencies. We put frequencies and vibrations up, right? Put a 1 up if you believe that the United States has frequency weapons. A lot of y'all don't believe that this entity that we wrestling against in the physical, or that's been trying attempted to destroy us with the Psalms 83 people, where it's come, let us cut them off for being a nation. They've been gunning at you for a long time. They've been coming at you for a long time. Put a one up if you believe that there's such thing as frequency weapons. That's why we talk about frequencies. That's why we talk about music. Because although they form these weapons against you, the book say no weapon formed against you will prosper. And he was talking to the Israelites. He was talking about the book believers, ones that believe the book and that go by the book and that live by the book. That's who he was talking to. So before we get into the actual weapon, I'm going to show you a scientific article that I found out there from IFL Science. I'm going to share my screen. I'm not going to read the article. I'm just going to show you what the article is about and what they've discovered. Scientists identify the brain's fear frequency. Huh? Whoa. Frequency has a fear. You zoom in on that. There's a fear frequency. Could that fear frequency be the spirit of fear? So is the spirit a frequency? Is that what they're saying? Interesting. Scientists identify the brain's fear frequency. Ever wonder why you get chills down your spine? Blah, 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 blah. This is all blah, blah, blah. To me, it's blah, blah, blah. The brain's ability to learn and recall conditioned behaviors was famously illustrated by Ivan Pavlov. Is probably more than illustrated by some brother who they took the game from. But this just outlines what's going on in the article. And I didn't bring this up to want to read the article, because the book talks about the spirit of fear. There's plenty of precepts to talk about the spirit of fear, the spirit of jealousy. The book talks about all these things as being spirits. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the chat. Okay? You guys can read that at your leisure. I'm not going to read it because I'm pointing these things out to you. Why? Because these things you need to know, we need to be on guard. And how do we get on guard? Number one, we need to be praying to the Father. We need to be putting on that armor that the book talks about. We need to come into those weapons that the book talks about that we don't have yet. Them cheat codes. We need to be praying, fasting, and praying. Praying without ceasing. We need to be doing those kinds of things. Now, like I said, I didn't put that article up to read it. I put that article up to frame your thought. Because I asked if there was technology. Check this out, fam. Your smart device will feel your pain and fear. Your smart device will feel your pain and fear. What if your smart device could empathize with you? Let's zoom that up a little bit so that you guys can see. This battle that's going on against us is deep, fam. This all ties to music, but look how deep the technology is going. What if your smart device could empathize with you? The evolving field known as affective computing. Who knew it? Put a one up if you heard of affective computing before. Is likely to make it happen soon. If you heard of affective computing, where the device that you got in your pocket can tell if you scared or tell if you happy. Your smart device can do this. I'm gonna put this in the chat too for your reading pleasure, right? It's in the chat for the family, so that you can read that too. The more smart devices we have in our lives, the more we are going to want them to behave politely and be socially smart. In other words, I hate Alexa. Every time I tell Alexa to do something, she be smart with me, and I'll be like, and you could ask my wife. She be talking crazy to me, and I'll be talking crazy to her. One time, it actually turned my TV off when I said something, and it just went blink. TV just turned off. Yeah, there's a lot we haven't heard of, but Google this word, effective computing, because what has happened is when the book of Daniel says knowledge shall increase, the book is not playing. That's how you know we have the more sure the word of prophecy, and that prophecy is true. You don't have to guess about anything when it comes to learning something. They are on a path of destruction, but they think they're getting smart. But sister said, why? Why? I believe Joyce said, why? I believe it's to fight against the sun when he come back and smash on them. All this technology that they're gathering up to themselves. Why they won't let you go to Antarctica. Why they won't let you see what's there. Why they try to keep you in a box. Now, I keep telling everybody frequencies, vibrations been used against you. I'm going to show this one last point, and then we're going to move off of it. If you want to Google sonic weapons, and I'm going to do it right with you. Google sonic weapons and look at all the fancy things that come up. Sonic weapons. If you think they don't have weapons that they can point at you and have you doing crazy things, and they got patents on them too. The patent right there for a sonic weapon. Sonic weapons. Let's look at the images for sonic weapons. And you'll see who pointing them. Look at that. This is real life. This was back in the day right here. This is real life right here. Where they got weapons that they could point at you, and you will start doing something. You don't even know what you're doing. You're just doing it. Something enter into your brain to do some silliness. And that's what we're also up against. You have these crazy thoughts popping into your mind. You don't know where they came from. Somebody probably pointed a sonic weapon at you. LRAD, long-range acoustical devices. Google sonic weapons. I'll drop that in the chat. And then I'm gonna get back to the music, because all of this is related, right? Why? Because there's a war against you, and all of these devices are pointed against you, but no weapon formed against the Israelites can nor will it prosper. It won't. That's words from the Father. So now I'm going to get into hip hop a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about what has me shook, and doesn't have me shook. It actually has me sad and dismayed. Has me sad and dismayed. Why does it have me sad and dismayed? Because a lot of our people have been crossing over because of what's happening with the music that the young stars have been putting out. A lot of people have been crossing over, and I've got a page that I'm going to go to, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the music. We're going to talk a little bit about hip hop. We're going to talk about a little bit of some of the latest deaths that's been happening. And let me get my bearings straight, fam. Let's see here. Had the page I wanted. Hold on a second, bro. Go ahead.
Nah, I just was going to post that verse I was talking about from the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs.
You can go ahead and post that up if you want. You can put that up. Before I go into the hip hop musicians that have been slain, did you want to elaborate on this precept, bro?
Yeah, just a little bit. I read this many years ago, and it always stuck out to me because, you know, a lot of our females are some of the richest in the world through the entertainment industry. And the Testament of Judah, chapter 4, verse 23 and 2. It says, "You shall make your daughters into musicians and common women, and you will become involved in revolting Gentile and heathen affairs." If you just look at that, if you can just look at the way a lot of our females operate inside the music industry, it says you should make your daughters into musicians and common women. A lot of our women that can come from the lowest walks of life can get some outstanding and prominent position amongst our people just from being accepted into the music industry. And I'm not going to say it's based off of talent. I'm not going to say it's always the best singer that becomes the biggest star, because as we can see that you're initiated into certain positions, as Elder Cleo was showing with the dude Todd. You get initiated into certain type of positions, and once you're initiated into those positions, you don't have to be the best singer. You don't have you got to do certain rights to get into them positions. If you see a man walking around with Kissinger or what's the one of the Carnegies or Rockefellers, or you see them walking around with the Weinsteins, they've been initiated into something, and it's not about talent. Then they done sold something to be in that position. And like it says here, you should make your daughters into musicians of and common women. You should become involved in revolting Gentile heathen affairs. And I'm not trying to pick on our women, because a lot of our brothers is out of order. But look at the condition of our women today. I've seen my niece run around putting up TikTok videos, getting banned, um, dancing to all these songs by Lizzo, Nicki Minaj, Megan Nostalgian. You've seen that video on YouTube where Cardi B was singing a song. As soon as her daughter walked in the room, she cut that stuff off. She knew them spirits is floating around in them songs. She didn't want her daughter to hear that. She didn't want her child to hear that. So she cut it off from the rip. She said, "Oh hell no. Let me turn that off. I don't want my child to hear that." So our women have become the face of doing the Gentiles' work. We become the face of their revolting Gentile heathen affairs, and that we're the face of everything. When it comes to homosexuality, we're the face of. They use our people to be the face of every abominable thing, every commandment that the Most High gave our people. This system, these Edomites have made sure that we become the face of everything that revolts against the Most High God. You know, they got plenty of their people that come out the clouds. They got plenty of their people that do these abominations, but they always make sure it's our people that's the face of it. And I mean, this verse is somewhat speaking to that.
Brother Najee, before I jump into get back into the hip hop musicians, do you have something to add to that, bro?
Not really. Brother Lasher pretty much laid that out. That scripture right there from the Testament of Judah is really profound. I think Brother Lasher also touched on this. It's not just our women. I mean, the stuff that's happening right now, and the faces that's being placed on top of all of these, on all of these tracks, this music, that bangs in your ear, the face that's being placed on it is our face. And like I had said before, there's something really key. There's a note that we can hit, like I said, that note of pain that we can hit, and that note is being used in all this music today, in the frequencies you just spoke about, to push those buttons. I truly believe it is a spirit that is roaming around. So good word, Brother Lasha. And Brother Banya just got on, and you know what? I still got the best icon up here.
You tripping, bro? Hey, what's up, brother Bonnie? How you doing, man?
Shalom and blessings, Elder. Shalom and blessings, Elder Elisha, Brother Najee. I just been listening in, you know.
All right, cool. So we're about to talk about the list of murdered hip hop musicians, and so I'm going to share my screen. And again, this show is really geared towards the youth, and we should do more shows like this because The youth are actually our future, not the old heads, contrary to popular belief. Uh, it's all about the young stars. No ifs, ands, or buts. So we're going to look at the list of murdered hip hop musicians. I like what they've done in terms of this database, right? Because it's a database. I like how you can flip the categories and whatnot. So this is the list since 1987. I remember DJ Scott LaRock. Scott LaRock was from BDP, Boogie Down Productions. You from the West Coast talking about BDP? Yeah, we love Scott LaRock. We love my man. What's my man's name? Gosh, I can't even think of his name.
He also was
Anyway,
from Camden, New Jersey. Scott LaRock was
Scott
right
LaRock was from Camden.
from Camden, New Jersey. CMD.
Okay, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Don't say you from don't act like you've been saved all of this time. So here's what I'm going to do. We're just gonna scroll down the list. Who was DJ Scott LaRock was with Boogie Down Productions, but who was the main rapper of BDP? I forget his name. I can see his face. Went to his concerts and the whole night. Can't think of his name. Somebody help me, man.
Was it
It's
Curtis Blow?
KRS-One.
Curtis Blow?
Nah, man.
Boogie Down Productions.
Yeah.
Wasn't that KRS-One?
Yeah, KRS-One. Dang, man. I couldn't even think of his name. Yeah. This is KRS-One. Yeah, KRS-One. I couldn't even think of his name, man. I'm bugging because I'm getting older. That's all. So let's look at this list, fam. Look at the people who are on this list. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna do some filters, but these are the people that's on the list, and I'm gonna scroll down the list for a reason. Scrolling down the list, we're starting with 1987. We're just going to go through. We're in the 90s. We're in the 2000s. I'm going to scroll through the 2000s. You remember the names. Some of these people, one of these dudes I may know personally, but I ain't going to say who. Let's keep scrolling down. Notice they all over the place. Most of them died violently by shooting. Take a look at that, right? The names, some of you guys know. We still in the 2000s. Extension, that was a recent one. It seemed like he just died last week, and it's been that long ago since he's died. Nip, 2019 seemed like he just died recently. Pop Smoke, it's been 2 years now. King Von, Chi-Town. Shout out to all of the different cities. Yeah, KRS-One and D-Nice. I don't know why. KRS-One is one of my favorite rappers on all the earth, and I couldn't even remember the brother's name. So let's keep going down here. MO3, another famous popular. Now, I'm featuring some of these latest ones, and you should be seeing a trend, right? Young Dolph, Draco, and mind you, I'm going to say this up front. I've never listened to any of their music at all. I haven't. Okay. P&B Rock was in LA. That was recently. And then most recently on November 1st was Takeoff. Takeoff was a member of the Migos, right? And so I'm going to tell you up front that I had no idea who the Migos were because I'm not connected to music like that. Had no idea. But now you can, if you take a look at these brothers, and the word was Takeoff was a good brother. The Migos were good people. They wasn't doing nothing to nobody, and reportedly they were good folks. What I also want to do is I want to do this too. I want to also we're gonna take a look at this list again, and there's a reason why we're looking at these lists like this. Yep, he made that song. Why is that? He also made a yeah. My brother say he sounded like Charleston White. I have been watching Charleston White. I have been watching him recently. My brother mentioned that. I have been. Charleston White, although he's inflammatory, he loves his people. And I'll leave it at that. So I just clicked the clicker here on location of death, and I want you to pay attention to the locations of death, right? I'm just going to scroll through here. So you got these Atlanta. Dallas. Notice Dallas and Houston. D, you had one. Houston, you had quite a few. Right? That's where Takeoff was killed in Houston. Look at LA. Now I'm not showing these lists to glorify the city. New Orleans got quite a few. New York City got a few. New York City got a lot. Jam Master Jay. That's what Run DMC and them. That's when I was listening, going to Run DMC concerts where I was from. We had our boom boxes. You didn't even have a stereo. You had the boom box playing in the car, playing Run DMC and them. Yo. So you notice the cities. Notice that. I read through these so that you could probably see a pattern. That you see a pattern. And I'm going to throw another death in there. And this death has to do with not only culture pressure, but the industry as well. Duke the Jeweler. Who in the hell is Duke the Jeweler? Well, Duke the Jeweler was a famous jeweler from Chicago that was murdered in Houston. He was murdered in Houston. And he was part of the culture. Duke the Jeweler. And I'll throw that Instagram page up so that we can see it. I'll show that to you later. So now we just saw this list of people that are connected to hip hop, connected to industry. Yeah, we mentioned DJ Scott LaRock. He was at the top of the list actually. If you look at this database here, you go to let's see, your date of death, I believe it is. Scott LaRock come up first. So yeah, Rojo, we not forgetting nobody. And this is it right here. These white folks have been making sacrifices of these young rappers lately over the past few years. Now, that points to the trend, but we're going to get into that. Should we get into the trend right now? Yeah, we're going to get into the trend. Okay, so I'm going to show you something. And then we're going to get into the Migos a little bit because I do want to talk a little bit about them. And the Migos were huge. I didn't know them brothers was that big because I had never heard of the Migos. I didn't know who the Migos was. I had no idea, but they were huge. And so we're gonna look at this breakdown of the chart that we just looked at. And so I broke it down the way that we normally do here. We break it down and parse the information so that it's going to make sense. And then you'll be able to see the trend that I saw, right? So we're going to break this down into 10-year spans. And so the 80s, we had two. And from 1990 to 1999, we had 10, right? Let's go on to the next decade. And the next decade, we didn't have any in 2000, supposedly. But from 2001 to 2009, remember, we're going from 1 to 9. That's a decade, 10 years. We had 12, right? Then from 2010 to 2019, had 22. 22. So you done jumped 12. Last decade from 10 to 2019, 10 years, you had 22. 2022, and we're just now 2020 to 2022, we're already at 15. Can you folks see the trend? Put one up if you could see the trend. Hopefully I beat you all. I'm going to be a little bit slow. Can you see the trend? And I'm not even sure he was even on the list. Word on the street is that's a word on the street. Death industry. Can you all see the trend? I'll run it back from start to finish. should be able to see the trend. This trend is very simple. First year you had 2. Next decade you had 10. Next decade you had 12. Next decade you had 22. It's only been 3 years into the next decade, you already have 15. You're probably on your way to 60. If you're not careful, maybe even 100. At the pace you're going. If I extrapolate every 3 years, you get 15, 3, that's 45. Add another 5 to that, that's 50. Doubling what you had in this decade. Can y'all see that? I haven't even started running any type of numerology, bro, because I'm not that learned. But if you see something, bring it out, because that's why we're all here. The Father is working a beautiful mosaic where it's all hands on deck, and all of the whole family contributes, not just the folks on the panel. My brother said the trend is insurance money of the owners, huh? That's interesting. Somebody said Takeoff was sacrificed. I think, was it Davion? Somebody in here said that. I put it up. Yeah, D Nice.
Elder
Sacrifice.
Cleo.
Yes, sir.
What I was noticing is that the death toll seems to triple the first time, and then it starts to double. And if you look at it, where we going by this rate by the end of this year, with by the end of what would it be 2021 to 22, you was looking at, with 2 years in.
We're 20, 21, 22. We're 3 years in. We already at 22.
So at that rate, we're more than double that 22. It'd be like 44,
45 or 50.
45 or 50.
Somewhere it out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And see, this is what's not being reported by our own family. We got the data in front of us. So now the question becomes, you don't have to ask yourself why, because we already know why. Because this is all part of the war. This is all part of the war against you. This is a good question. I wonder how the sacrifices work. Do the artists have a say and pick in who gets whacked? Do the handlers just tell them who gets whacked? I have seen situations where, and this is just me speculating, opining. I have no definitives. But it's almost as if the person who is being controlled says, okay, let it be that person over there. And this is just my opinion. I have nothing factual to base that on whatsoever. Let's see. The sister says 2 plus 10 plus 12 is 12. 10 plus 12 is 22. This decade should be 34. That's interesting. At the rate that we're going right now, if I extrapolate every 3 years, you have 22, because we're already at 22. You are going to have at least a doubling. If I extrapolate that, every 3 years, you have 22. At 3 years, we are already at 22. So within the next 3 years, if at the pace that we're going, but here's what's going to happen. I'm gonna put this down. At the pace that they thought we were going, it's supposed to be 45, right? Because if it's every 3 years, it's 22. We're already at 3 years now. Actually, it would be 64 if we extrapolate at the current rate that we're going. The current rate, it would be 64, and then you add another third of that for the last year, which would be 12. Take 12 divided by 3, that's another 4. You'd have 68. I'm going to go on record as saying, because the prayer and the power of the Father, because of our prayers, this is not going to reach 68 within the next decade. Matter of fact, we're going to make it go in reverse. That's why we are here. That's why we, the Israelites. The Father gave us the power of prayer. We're going to use our power of prayer to pray this mess down. Our people need help because of this war that's been going on against us. Now, somebody says, what say the panel? I do need to ask the panel, What do y'all say about this information, about these numbers that you're looking at? I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Somebody say, what say the panel? I agree with you, Brandon. What say the panel? What say you, Brother Najee?
You know, when I was looking at the numbers, I guess my thought was the numbers don't say much to me, and the only reason I'm saying that is because, like you were saying before, I do believe that the music industry is something special in terms of that spirit that is used, to control. I think it has more of, maybe there's more of a sacrificial, sacrificing a person for some reason, for some kind of spell or something like that. The only reason I'm saying it that way is because I think there's an overall reason why quote unquote black people dominate the entertainment fields, especially in America, especially in America. Because I think there is something to holding us hostage. If you can't call it slavery, it's certainly something like slavery. I don't care how much they're paying you. And we see that when we see what's going on with people like Kyrie Irving, when we see what's going on with people like Ye. These are industries, these entertainment industries, sports included along with music. These industries have owners. These people are owned, and that's clear in the NFL, NBA. That is clear. They're actually called owners. In the music industry, maybe they're not called owners, but then we've learned, certainly in the past month or so, that Ye is screaming out, "Hey, I'm being owned. I'm being played." So I think the overall sense of what I'm seeing, it's not just the music industry, it's the entertainment industries, period. And I would love to, kind of go a little deeper into like a person like Oprah Winfrey, for example, who seems to own her own. And I say that putting quotes around it. I just want to know how owned she actually is. I think we would all be really surprised.
She was linked up with them Steens pretty tight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And people like her, people like Tyler Perry, it's all around entertainment. We saw this with Bill Cosby. I mean, this hold we have on entertainment, there's something to it, to where we are still in bondage, no matter how many dollar signs we can flash.
Can I interject, brother?
Oh yeah, I was done, bro. Go.
Thank you. Well, what I would say is what those numbers tell me, if I wanted to just simplify it, that the Most High is not playing with our people. We can talk about if these guys were good people or not, but we want to talk about what type of music were they putting out, right? What was the music they was putting out? Was it influencing our people to come back to the Most High? Was it influencing our people to stand up for one another? Was it a revolutionary type of music? Because just like the brother Elisha was touching on, that music was made to praise the Most High, right? I'll say the music was made for a couple of different reasons. Music has a couple of different functions, right? One to influence, one to create, and another one is to not manipulate, but to manifest things, right? We talk about what the Most High said: life and death is in the power of the tongue. And Paul says, speak those things as if they were. When the Most High created, he spoke. we're talking about frequencies being put out to the people. You know, frequencies that's going to either influence people to do good or influence them to do bad. When you put out certain type of music and it's influencing people to do a certain things, you cause curses to come upon yourself, even if you don't live that lifestyle. The majority of brothers that's doing these raps about murdering people and stuff like that, they ain't out there murdering. They ain't doing that. They ain't out there being murderers and stuff like that. But because they rap about that, because that's the energy they put out, man, they end up dealing with those things because they speak those things not only into their own life, but into other people's lives. The frequencies we put out are powerful. Words are powerful. They can either rally the people up or they can cause people to have despair. They can bring joy or they can bring anger, right? So, you know, I think the issue, a big issue with what we see going on is the culture is a death culture that speaks. The majority of the things they speak is about death into their lives and death on their own kind, you know? And that's the issue. And not only that, on hindsight, we got people, we got younger generations that despite that culture are Israelites, you know? We got younger ones despite that culture who are looking to educate themselves, looking into history about who they are, looking into things that will elevate their understanding of self, opposed to denigrate their level of thinking. So when you see people dying from these type of things, you know, we all can have an excuse, but everybody has a choice to make whether or not they want to be an influencer of death or an influencer of life among their people. So when you put out that type of stuff, man, sometimes even if you're a good person, when you put that stuff back, you're responsible for what you put out there. You might have not been a murderer, right? But if you talking about you murder, you kill, you do that, you know, and you got people in the hood and they listen to that before they go to murder someone. You know, they listen to pump them up to go to get something done. But you didn't pull the trigger, but you influenced someone to do it. You don't pull triggers, but you influence people to do it. You don't sell drugs, but you tell people that it's okay to do that. All in the name of putting some money in your pocket. And people have to deal with the consequences of that when it comes upon them. Because you saying that, and then you go in that same hood where people are listening to, and they want to see what you really about. They want to see if you really real. You gonna pop off when I pull this on you, or you gonna be another victim. So you know, it's a shame, man. You know, the Most High not playing with our people. You know, we need to get it right.
Here's what's here's what's a slight paradigm in the whole hip hop thing, right? And the title is there for a reason, being for the streets, because you hit the nail on the head. And so, because one has to be real about what you're talking about, when you talk about, you know, keeping it real, or somebody say, "Oh yeah, he really, this nigga that rap, he really is a street nigga," or you a real one. You know, this G right here, he a real G. He ain't no YouTube or no internet or rap dude, right? Because those lines used to be blurred where, okay, you had the rap dude who was rapping about something that he had no clue about, but now they want to emulate those things. The way that, and it's unfortunate, peace be upon him, the brother Takeoff, and all the brothers, peace be upon them, and peace to the families that have lost loved ones. But you're a multi-million-dollar artist, and these dudes was like huge. They wasn't just no run-of-the-mill dudes. They was big, right? So if you're a big artist, the culture pressure says that you have to be for the streets. Otherwise, you're not going to move. But mainstream accepts you. Like, okay, yeah, we accept him because he is for the streets. I mean, these dudes are on the big talk shows. I got a video. We could throw it. I might throw it up. I might not, for the sake of time and the conversation. But if you're a multi-millionaire, these cats was multi-millionaires, right? When do you say to yourself, okay, you know what? It's time out for keeping it real. Let me focus on what I'm doing. Right? I don't have to be for the streets. I don't have to be supposedly Takeoff got killed in a dice game. And I seen Duke the Jeweler got taken off in the dice game too. Right? Duke the Jeweler, another young star. I got that Instagram, and there's some common threads, and I don't want to get into the common threads on the he said, she say, because I'm not from Houston. I don't know what's going on in Houston, but I do salute to all my family that's in Houston. Salute to the Israelites that's putting in work in Houston, right? But I will say this. If you a millionaire, people gonna look at you like you food. And not everybody that's looking like you walking around got your best interests at heart. Even the ones that you supposedly, when you go into that city and you for the streets and you tap in or you check in, and you wind up getting smoked in that city, right? So trying to be for the streets and you trying to do something and you making all of this money, you can't be flashy and doing all these crazy gold chains. I was never into gold chains. I like what Q said. I don't wear too much gold because it's flashy. Never was into that, right? But that's just me. I mean, it's okay for you to wear gold, but just know that when you wearing something, it's like, okay, here I am, there it is. And so all the predators out there see it and they like, okay, that's food. I get to go eat. Yeah, he said it right there. I'll never put my life in the hands of another man. You go tap in and check in, and then the people that supposedly supposed to be checking you, watching you allegedly, is the ones that probably had you whacked. Ain't that something? What kind of low life does that? I'm not showing it. We're not having this conversation for that. The main reason for this conversation is so that we can really start praying for our youth. Really. That's really what this is about. Because our youth do need our prayers, but we need to come together corporately to pray this mess down. How come we can't? How come we have to uplift the streets? How come culture pressure has to be so tough on us that it's all about being cool? You know who the coolest person is? It's not somebody that's moving bricks, although I have my opinion on somebody that's moving bricks, right? But that's not the coolest person. Ain't the one with the Benzes and the gold and the girls and all of that stuff. For me, if you a code head, if you know anything about AI, you know anything about programming, C Sharp, C plus, COBOL, Fortran, Pascal, some of the visual programming languages. To me, that's you could, if you got them kind of skills, you could build something. Everything is based on technology now, right? What you know about AI? What you know about that? Did you know that Google's an AI, right? Google is a sentient now. Well, brother, see how you say Google is sentient. Google gonna give you, before you even think about it, based on your patterns and what you've been telling Google all of this time, gonna feed you that, whether it be YouTube, whether it be searching and all of that. Google soon gonna be thinking and talking to you and gonna say, "Good morning, Mr. C. What would you like for breakfast?" And then it'll go run off and make it for me, like who is that? Rosie and the Jetsons. So now we need to be the Israelites not only need to be praying down these things, but we need to be getting in our youth's ear, whether they like it or not. And right now, where the spirit is, because I'm tired of all, I'm tired. I've got video after video of just young death, stuff that people, I'm sure nobody even, is so much going on the earth right now. Y'all probably wouldn't even heard. I got a whole page of them. Just our people just dropping off the earth. Y'all heard about the three students that got smoked by a brother at the University of Virginia. Y'all heard about that one, right? What about the 3 Americans that died in Mexico City of carbon monoxide? 3 young stars. These are young people, our young stars. What about the sister Shaquille Robinson beaten to death while on vacation with friends? One of her friends beat her to death, broke her back, and they left her there and came back and said, "Oh, we don't know what happened to her." It's all vibrational. It's all frequencies, all of this. And what that really ultimately boils down to is them spirits. Them spirits. We have the solution. We do. We don't have to guess about it. We can look in the book and see what the solution was, and then we apply those things. We talk about prayer. We talk about fasting. We do crowds on every Friday, and people don't even be wanting to show up. But if we talk about, hey, who shot John, or let's talk about some mess, everybody line up. You have a door around the door, line around the door, wait like your best restaurant for some fine dining. We know what the battle is. We know what the war is. Everybody here, nobody here is stupid. Everybody here is on point. So when we going to start praying this stuff down so that they can see the real power of the Israelites? Yeah, we going to pray this down. Yeah, we are. Every one of y'all is already commissioned to do it. So we know them numbers ain't going to hit what they hit. We already know they're not going to hit no 50, they're not going to hit no 60, none of that. We praying against that. We're going to fast against it too. Those of us who call on the Father, we need to be as close to the Father as we can get. How do you get close to the Father? By being righteous. How do you be righteous? You better be LSC. That's what we got. Until he give us them cheat codes, we're going to use what we got. All these young people dropping like flies. Ain't nobody saying nothing. I didn't know nothing about the Migos. Start doing a little bit of research. You can learn a lot from YouTube, from the YouTube streets. It's not the real streets, but you can learn a lot. I learned a lot about the Migos. You millionaire, you in a dice game. If I'm a millionaire, I'm not gonna be in no dice game. I'm probably gonna be sitting up waiting for my next show. That's part of that whole persona that you have to be. Some of it be pretend, like the brother Bonnie was saying, and some of it is real. Not all these brothers that's talking about what they talking about wasn't about what they talking about now. They done paradigmed it. The lines is blurred. It's become a culture of death. Where you uplift through culture pressure, you uplift the foolishness and the stuff that's good, you suppress it and press it down. It's time out for that, fam. And we need to be in our young star's eye, whether we know them, if we don't know them, we see them. Hey, you might not want to do that, young star. That's not a good way to go. The Father done gave us the power. Not only have he gave us the power, it's our right to tell the young stars what it is. Peace and blessings, Brother Banya. Be well, bro. Peace and blessings. This is happening on all of this death and destruction is happening on our watch. A lot of it has to do with us wringing out the dregs that we was given by the Father. So now we know that we got to be the leaders, the Israelites, the ones that's LSC, the ones that believe, but not no Christian light. It's up to everybody that's in this chat and everybody that call on the Father that say he your Father. If he your Father, do what he said. This right here. What's that? If you're a gangster, what you do in the show business or vice versa. If you doing in show business, what you doing running around being for the streets? I don't know nothing about the streets. I know my lane. I know my lane. I don't want to be about the street. Plus, I'm an old head. Brother, you too old. But when I wasn't never really about the streets, no way. I'll move a little bit differently. And we're not getting into all of that. It's about us, fam. We the ones that's going to change the thing, turn the tide around, where the tail become the head. It's up to us. We can't rely on the boule. We can't rely on no actors and actresses. These people not learned. They learned in they quote craft. Kyrie Ernie learned in his craft. Kendrick Lamar learned in his craft. Amari Stewart, Stoudemire, he say he an Israelite. He learned in the craft. He a Jewish man. He went to U-Wish, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's up to us. It's up to us. And he don't need all the Father done called all hands on deck, but it's ultimately up to us. Somebody put the precept up about having faith of a mustard seed. I know that we can make a difference. The few of us that's here in the chat and the few of us that's on the panel, we can make an impact. We just gotta want to and then do it. This subculture done went way sideways. We gonna pray that it get better for our people. Get better for our young stars so that they can turn their life around. Matthew 17 and 20. And Mashiach said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith of a grain of a mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible for you. Now we get into that faith without works thing. Y'all know y'all don't like me fussing at y'all about that. So I'm not even gonna do that. I do owe y'all fussing at though, but I'm not gonna fuss at y'all about that right now. You have faith of a mustard seed. Mustard seed know what its job is. Know what it's supposed to do. We supposed to be taking what the Father's given us and start attacking in the spirit, not sitting back. We supposed to be attacking. Nothing should move or happen unless we allow it to. We should be on the move. The fuse is on the move right now because they shook, because they don't know what y'all gonna do next. They shook. They're like, oh, the cat's out the bag. What did Hitler say? Hitler knows. Putin knows too. Probably why Putin haven't done nothing to this place is because them Israelites over there, them sleepy Negro toys. You gonna go while the Negroes are sleeping. He said he was gonna attack while the Negro was sleeping. Now the Negro done woke up. Oh, so you can't do that now, can you? I wonder if that's if that's related to each other. Interesting. So I'm not even gonna put the like I said, I had a bunch of stuff that I got a whole bunch of stuff that I was going, but what I was going to put up. But I think that you all get the understanding and get the message that, hey, if there's any change that's going to happen, and I know that we're coming together, I know that the dry bones are stood up. I say that to us all the time. The dry bones done stood up. The muscles done came on the dry bones. The eyes is in the head of the skeleton that's got muscles on it. Just imagine a skeleton with muscles on it and with its eyes. Still got the nervous system, still got the brain, still got the heart. Even though you got to have muscles on top of you, still got the heart that need to get put in you, still got the skin. And then you got you got the armor that you gotta put on, and then you got the weapons, because somewhere it says they were a mighty army. It wasn't just no cats just stood up just so that they could go play in the NBA or play Major League Baseball or football or become a rapper or even to become a computer scientist or a lawyer. Preempting the gatekeepers, the Greeks, the archons, put them in quotes, Boule Bobs and Bettys. Y'all know who y'all is. Talented lion ass, talented tent. Call y'all out every chance I get. When we get into the wilderness, you talking about that. May you be stoned. May you be stoned. So we're gonna close out. We're gonna close out a little bit early today. We're over the 2 hour mark, and I might get back to doing them 2 hour hits like how we used to do. I'm gonna give my brothers the last words, and then we're gonna close out a little bit early. But again, family, run this back with your family. Run this back with your children. They need to understand what they up against. Book said we wrestle not against flesh and blood. These you got entities gunning for you. Them entities that name powers, principalities, and rulers. Then you got that Psalms 83 gunning for you. All at the behest of who? But no weapon formed against you shall prosper, according to what the books say. And if you have faith on that to believe that, if you have faith of a mustard seed, how come we can't do the greater works that he spoke about? Shiach said, greater works than these ye shall do. How come you're not doing them? We start doing them today then, Brother C. We'll start doing them today. Mark B. Fitness. We'll start doing them today, Jason Phillip McCauley. Most High Shalom Peace. We'll start doing them. Rojo Tahuti. Jason. Yashadi. Nature's Graffiti. Brandon. All y'all in the chat. We'll start doing them today then. We'll start doing them today. For today forward, we're going to look to do them greater works. And the Father going to be with us when we talk to young stars, not in fear, but we're going to talk to them in boldness. So I'm going to let my brothers have the last words. Starting with Brother Elisha. Go ahead, Brother Elisha.
Yeah, always truthful words from the elder. I was just pondering to myself about all the things that we're talking about, and it goes back to a question one of the brothers had asked about the people who or the rappers that had died, and wondering what participate. I mean, like what brought it about. You know, when them brothers are when you say some of them are sacrificed, none of them are sacrificed unbeknownst to them. I'm not saying that they sat down at the altar and said they'd given their life, but everything is done by oath in the scriptures. Everything is done by word. We quote the scripture in here. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. When you agree, when you when you're willing to give yourself to make money, to turn yourself over to these people, that's your oath right there, and they can take your life at any point. Psalms 101 and 3. I used to always quote it all the time to my children. It reads, I will set no evil thing before mine eyes. I hate those who turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. Everything you enter into, every movie you watch, every spirit you call upon yourself is you're given a doorway to your soul. When you cleave to horror movies, when you cleave to certain acts of idolatry, certain acts of sexual immorality, you give those spirits dominion over you. They like, oh, I got one. It's an open door right there. That's why we have to be weary of everything that we let into our spirit. Everything, it's a fight for your life, and sometimes you're made haphazard in your actions because normalcy of what we see today, like in the music, we sing these things, and a lot of time we don't know what these rappers are saying. Who can know what they're saying? They don't know what they're saying. You know, I'm getting and I'm a hitter. Like I don't know what I don't know what the dude is saying half the time. All I know is the beat is good. The beat is good. You think he's talking about something. It's Testament of Judah 23:1. Jacob speaking. Our father Jacob, my grief is great, my children, on account of the licentiousness and witchcraft and idolatry that you practice contrary to the kingship, follow ventriloquists, omen dispensers, and demons of deceit. Ventriloquists. Like these people are puppets, man. Just like one of the brothers was saying inside the comments. Your life is not your own when you turn yourself over there, and you're actually a traitor to your people. That's what you are when you rap about and glorify the murder of your own people, the disrespect of your women. And you do this for the very enemy that you say you dislike so much. And then we make excuses for why we capitulate to all the rap music and the love making music. When I was cased up, my cell buddy, all he did was listen to boo loving music 24/7. I used to tell him he's a sucker for love for life. It would drive me crazy just listening to that boo loving music all the time. And it's not that I got something against love or anything like that. Shoot, what man doesn't want love or, to be connected to somebody spiritually and all those things. But I'm talking about in the sense of the idea, the idea that you're allowing the spirit to come over you to long for something that's not exactly spiritual, So I think that a lot of times when we sit here and we have these discussions, and everybody goes their separate way, we encounter these things day by day, every time we turn on the TV, every time we turn on the music. So I just pray that the Most High, blesses us with the angel of his presence, that he fills us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that those archangels are given charge over us and they're guarding us from everything that can come in, both seeing and not seeing, that we can somehow be brothers and sisters, and stand in the gap for each other, because we're at war. You know, we're at war, and a lot of times war is not always, playing out on the battlefield physically by going hand-to-hand combat. Most war is done psychologically. Most war is done by first destroying the mind. And what better way to destroy a person's mind than to use their own people to do it? And what worse, or what's the worst type of man or woman that would capitulate to destroying their own people for $1? Something that's not real or tangible, something that you can't take to the kingdom with you. So all these things might be good words, but what profit does it if we just walk away from, oh man, that sounds good, and then have the Negro like mentality as soon as we get off of here and hold no standard to the things that we know that is used to attack us. So we can't lift up those brothers. Even in the shedding of their blood, we can't lift them up. Because the bottom line is this: the Most High decided for which way that they should go out of here. Most High called them, to lose their life. And sometimes what we do in life attributes to how we lose our life. So, I'm gonna just say peace and blessing to all the brothers on the panel, Elder Cleo, Najee, to all the Israelite brothers and sisters out there. Peace and blessings. May the Most High bless. All praises be to his name.
Okay, so before Brother Najee goes out, I do have a something I need to play that I should have played, and please forgive me, but I'm gonna. And if you notice that we all have different avatars, it's because that we're going to start moving on different products and services. And one of those products and services will be doing t-shirts, hoodies, lids, socks, and things of that nature. So if you want to support us, you can. You're not obligated to do that, but if you want to do that, you can. So, Brother Najee, what say you, brother, to close us out?
All I have to say is that commercial was banging, man. It made me forget what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that commercial was on point, and we probably should put it out on the main page so that folks can see it and folks can do what it is that they want to do if they're led to. But I'll say this: Salt of the Earth does have some talent. There's some talented brothers behind the scenes, and that's just giving you all just a slight glimpse of where we're headed and where we're going without giving too much away. And so, Brother Najee, I'll let you have the final words.
Exactly. Oh, thank you. As always, Elder Cleo put out a great lesson here, great conversation on Kingdom Conversation. So thank you for that, Brother Elisha. Always great to be on the panel with you. Always great having discussions with you, bro. You know that. So the word talks about us raising our children in the ways of the Most High, and I'm paraphrasing here. When they get older, they won't depart from it. We know what that is, and we know what that means. Coming into this awakening, we also know that the law is our guide, right? The law is Mashiach, and that is our guide. And how many of us can say that, at least for the 10 Commandments, right? Our children can quote, our young children can quote all 10, and not only quote all 10, but know what they mean. And this is something now that we know who we are, now that we know we're Israelites, we need to focus on. We need to focus on teaching our children these 10 commandments from which all the law stems from. This is of the most important now. This is what will keep our children in the days of their trouble. This is what the prophets of old said that they can lean on in their times of trouble. the books of Psalms. We go through those Psalms. We quote them all the time. This is what these prophets are talking about when they're talking about leaning and trusting in the law and trusting in the power of the Most High. This is where we get our power, and this is what we must pass on to our children to save their lives. Mashiach is our salvation, and this is what we must teach our children. So again, good word, Brother Cleo. Thank you for that. Everybody in the chat, you know I love you. Until next time, stay strong. Shalom.
And this has been another Salt of the Earth production. Y'all already know what they gonna say. You better know what you better do. You better get saved.